Makes a man win or lose a fortune in a lottery, in a sweepstake, or at a gaming table? We don't know. But we do know that the more chances you take in everyday life, as well as in gambling, the greater the chances are that you will lose.
Good one, Red Wing.
This film is about road safety and the gamblers behind the driving wheel. Let's have a look at one of them. A man who lost heavily. Michael O'Donoghue here would never think of himself as a gambler. You might not either. But today, well, you'll see. Mr. O'Donoghue, let's call him Michael, has a constant problem. His alarm clock never seems to work too well. It only goes off once every morning. Now, a great deal depends on Michael's alarm clock. Mrs. O'Donoghue, the Mrs. O'Donoghue, Master O'Donoghue, the junior Mr. O'Donoghue, and the family watchdog, Cassius. All depend on it, but it just won't go off a second time. Even the milkman, who usually makes quite a racket, makes no impression on the O'Donoghues. It's only when the dog's old enemy, the postman, arrives that the family has to sit up and take notice. The better half takes longer to come to and has to be gently persuaded. We all like something to pick us up in the morning, but the cup of tea is all the breakfast he's going to get. Yes, it's too bad nobody heeded that alarm clock. And he's still got to shave. That's better. Anything for a little peace. Yes, time's getting along, and you can't hurry an old-fashioned shave. Maybe he ought to grow a beard. It might get him out faster in the morning. In another part of town, another man and his family are preparing for work and school. Mr. Frank Byrne is a pretty average sort of fellow, with a wife and 2 young children. Frank Byrne owns a light motorcycle, very handy for getting him to work. Michael has a smart estate car, and he rather fancies himself as a driver. These men do not know one another, but they are going to. Michael would not just believe that in about 15 minutes he's going to encounter Frank Byrne on his motorbike, run him down, maim him, and perhaps kill him. He wouldn't believe it because he considers himself an average, ordinary, law-abiding man. Almost everyone who causes a road accident thinks of himself as ordinary and law-abiding. Frank is as good a motorcyclist as most, which means that he too can be careless in ways. For instance, he tends to drive too near the crown of the road. No, not a very good start to a busy day. Already half an hour lost, which must be made up somehow. Yes, make sure that the safety belt is properly adjusted. What a morning. Dud alarm clock, bad blade, detours to the schools. Oh well, might as well get going. No, he's not really himself today. That meeting is at 9:45 sharp, and he'd hate to give bad example by being late. This is a statutory sign, and on seeing it, speed must be reduced to 40 miles per hour. That speed must not be exceeded until this sign is passed. But Michael intends to exceed it right now, seeing that all the morning traffic has gone ahead, though there are always awkward stragglers left to clutter up the road. Every road has its dangers, and speeding can multiply them. A simple situation like this can lead to a crisis when you're speeding. What kind of nut are you, pulling a stunt like that? You parked on the wrong side of the road. It's a good job my brakes are good. Would you like me to drive up to the woman's hall door? Then you'd have the road to yourself. Fellas like you should be put off the road. Close one, that, all right. And more seconds lost into the bargain. Of course, these stop signs don't really mean stop. They just mean take it easy. The heck is he honking at? Some people never heard of road manners. That fella's pushing his luck. Good job we don't all throw our weight around like him. If my 20 tons hit him, he'd be in smithereens.